Hi, hello, good afternoon. Thank you very much for your attention. Today we're gonna follow on with our Impulse for Women webinars. And today we're gonna have Rebeca de Sancho. She's working at the European Innovation Council, and she's gonna explain which is the European prize for women innovators. And gonna give her the chance to talk today. Thank you very much for coming here and for attending us, Rebeca.
Thank you, Tarin. Thank you, everyone.
Rebeca, we cannot hear you.
You cannot hear me? Okay.
No.
Okay, let me try. Let's do this. So I'll have to do it like this. Can you hear me now? Yes? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay, yeah. I was on the big screen and I switched it off. Thank you. So without further ado delay, well, I don't know if more people will start connecting. So as Tarin said, yeah, I'm working at the European Commission for one agency, the European Innovation Council program, and I'm going to talk about what it's doing for female-led tech entrepreneurs. But I would like to also show you a little bit of the past on how this initiative came into place. So we'll continue with the slides. Yeah. I wanted to start by setting the grounds and presenting what is the European Innovation Council aiming at. So for those who believe that your innovation is a breakthrough, disruptive, and that can have an impact in the world to become the next unicorn in Europe, this is the right place for you. So that's what I will go through today and what I will be explaining. I apologize because there are some notifications I cannot switch. Okay, I'll move on. Yeah. So as I said, I'll start with the pilot phase that was run until 2020 and what's coming ahead after 2021 and the activities for women-led startups. Then there will be the Q&A at the very end, and I will give you at the end of the session all the links and information, since this week had been last week had been the launch of the new EIC, and then you can have further information. So what I can tell you what happened in the past, under the Horizon 20 program, there was dedicated a budget of 3 billion for 1.5 billion was deployed in 2020. It was the first time that EIC pilot introduced the blended finance, and it was set up the EIC fund. All of this I will talk about a bit later on. Just to highlight that there was a high demand of applications, and we could see during 2020, even during the COVID, there were 14,000 applications from SMEs and startups. And there was a special support since we went through the crisis of COVID, and there was a special call for applicants on COVID-related innovations. The funding was given to 33 startups and 160 million in the May call, in the May cutoff. Then there was the Green Deal innovation with 64 startups and SMEs, and over 300 million in July was deployed for that. I want to highlight what we have been doing on women innovators, and yeah, will be presented later, but at least 25% of those startups were invited to the phase of the interview to receive funding. What have been going on, it's in terms of growth, budget, and also related to sustainable development goals. So the innovations that have been funded, just to give you an example, have been on the 30% related to this Green Deal funding, 30% also going to digital and health. So those have been the highest sectors where funding had been going. Yeah, you can see some figures, but I think it's more important to show you what is coming next after this. So we'll start with the period that we are starting now, which is a budgetary period for the European Commission, and it starts running in 2021, and it will last until 2027. The program of Horizon Europe is the one that entitles the innovation, that the European Innovation Council that I'm going to talk about. So we started as the Europe's most ambitious initiative with 10 billion for this program, and to tackle those breakthrough technologies and disruptive innovations in Europe and associated countries. The situation is that this makes the European Innovation Council a unique opportunity. Also having the EIC fund being the largest venture capital on deep tech investor in Europe with over 3 billion. And it's been steered by a board of leading innovators, so independent, and with a proactive approach, integrating as well and enhancing the European innovation ecosystem. Okay, yeah. So as you can see in the 3 pillars of innovation in Europe, in Horizon Europe, it's the largest, and it comes with the total budget, as I said, of 10 billion. We also have the European innovation ecosystems connecting with regional and national innovation actors, and the European Institute of Innovation and Technology. And then, yeah. Let me go through the details. So it has been established to be the right place and one place for these deep tech and breakthrough innovations, and being agile funding for the investment and building on the ecosystems and the communities. In the next slide, I'll explain you about all the possibilities on the funding. You have the Pathfinder, the transition, the technology, the accelerator, and just to give you an idea of what it entitles, each of them, in the Pathfinder, we have an early stage. One second, I'm going to try to switch off this because it's getting a bit on our way. I'm really sorry. Yeah.
Rebecca, there's one part of the presentation that we cannot see. I don't know why. This is like a banner, a gray one.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was trying to switch off the... No, I'm not. Can you see it now? I close all the windows.
The part of the controls of the zoom, you need to remove the floating parts not to show them. Then we will not see these.
Do I have to do that?
Is it better now?
Better.
Okay.
And you can remove also the top ones if you go to the green bar and select that it doesn't show it.
Okay, disable.
When worst.
Okay, I will put it here. No, it will not work.
Okay, then if you just remove the gallery, then we can see at least all.
Yeah, you can see it better. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. Okay, so as I was saying, okay, sorry, it's continuously dragging in. I'll make another attempt. Yeah, I don't know. So we have the Pathfinder, the transition, and the accelerator. And then the mission is, of course, to identify and to develop and deploy high-risk innovations in all these 3 kinds of breakthrough innovations, market creating, deep tech, and with support of business acceleration services for the funded companies or researchers with coach, mentors, corporates, investors, and creating an ecosystem around it. And also partnering with other institutions, like for instance, the ERC or the EIT that I highlighted before. On the next slide, if we go to the female-led companies and the actions that are coming up for women, that was the purpose of this presentation. We have one of them. It's, as I mentioned, the positive action on gender equality in the Eic Accelerator. It was to increase the number of women and have a target, because we saw in the past that without having this focus, without having the statistics for that, we couldn't have an idea how many women were applying for the funding. So only until 2019, it was not introduced this focus, and the target for 2020 was on the 25%, and in 2021, 40%. What did we see on that? It was an increase from the figures that we managed to have from the previous pilot. The numbers were around 10%, and we saw an increase across these years for the application of women-led companies. So that was, well, one of the highlights of the actions. Another one that is upcoming is the Women Leadership Program, and the launch will be in September 2021. We have opened a call for mentors, and yeah, as said, I will send all the details after the presentation. Another scheme is the Women Tech EU scheme, and the prize, as Taryn mentioned at the very beginning, the prize for women innovators. Another support that will be given to women-led companies is the Enterprise Europe Network support to draft the proposals for the EIC calls. Just for you as yeah, some information of what we've been working, thanks to having these numbers and extracting the figures, is that in the cutoff, the call for proposals that we had in May 2020, 19% of were women-led companies, the submitted ones. They invited to the interview, since we had this focus that we had the target of 25%, we managed to have 29%. And in the end, 34% were companies, women-led companies funded. For the October one was a bit different, but as you can see, the focus of having more companies, women-led, invited to these interviews, and the final phase for accessing the funding is important, so that we have more in the pipeline, and that's how we can see an increase of the final funded companies. Yeah, in the specifics of the Women Leadership Program, it will be in particular for EIC funded projects and companies, so integrated in all the previous programs that I mentioned, from Accelerator, Pathfinder, Transition, Women Tech EU, and what we call the Seal of Excellence is they hadn't received funded, but they receive a certification of excellence. So they are part of the program to receive these support services. We are talking about companies, women in companies, but also researchers, because many of the projects that I mentioned before are focused on research, but also research that will go to the market. So that's yeah, overall, as I said, with the EIC, the focus. And what do we intend to do? As we all know, since we are part of this community, yeah, we are, of course, trying to enhance the skills of the women that will participate in the program, and to create a networking hub for those women in the IC community. How do we intend to do it? Which objectives do we intend to achieve? It's we want to strengthen the diversity in the innovation and contribute to that, the innovation and tech ecosystem. and we want to have more women-led companies created and succeeding in business. I think we agree with that, all of you who participate and are part of Impulse for Women. We set for that some targets, at the end of the program, we will have 50% of the participating women ascending to roles like senior management, including board positions, that the teams in the EIC funded companies, the projects will be more diverse. Also that the participating women, when we refer more to researchers, will be creating spin-offs, and that we will have more women ensuring that their investment rounds or investment capacities will be followed up and have an increase in the long run. So the timeline, as I said, started with the call for mentors. Then there will be the analysis and the matching, and the real program will start in September 2021. And it will run the first cohort until March 2022. But this pilot idea is that it's sustained in time. So it will go through all the years of the Horizon Europe initiative. What are we going to provide to these to the members of this Women Leadership Program? Will be training, individual coaching and mentoring, networking, and visibility, of course. And they will become the next role models. That's what we all intend to have more to showcase more examples of what female entrepreneurs are doing. There are these other actions that I mentioned at the beginning. The Women Tech EU scheme, which is a pilot scheme that will be launched in June. And the first cohort will be with 50 promising deep tech startups. When I mentioned the participants of the Horizon Europe, I referred to the EU member states and associated countries. They all are part of this Horizon program. And that will be part of what we call the European innovation ecosystems. So stay tuned, because then more information will be upcoming on this specific scheme and grants given to promising deep tech startups for women. The prize for women innovators, well, it has been launched, if I remember correctly, in 2011, so it was a while ago. And this year, it has been launched on the 8th of March. So you can check all the details online. As we are talking about breakthrough innovations, it's game-changing innovations. And the intention of the prize is on one side to raise awareness and the need, as we know, to have more female innovators and role models for girls and women everywhere. The most talented women entrepreneurs will receive this prize, and there will be 3 prizes for 100,000 euros. And there will be a 4th prize of 50,000 euros for a promising rising innovator of the age of 30 or younger. And this prize will be managed from the side of this new agency that will be part of the European Innovation Council and SMEs Executive Agency. I wanted to talk about, because I think for part of the audience, it's the most relevant program, the Eic Accelerator Program. And what is exactly, what are we looking for when we talk about the funding of the Eic Accelerator Program? So we are talking about startups and SMEs that are aiming to scale up and to create, have this potential to create new markets. Those are innovations that are building on either scientific discovery or on technological breakthroughs, what we all call deep tech. Those innovations where the funding is needed, and there was this risk taking from other investors, and the role of the Eic is to de-risk that. And provide the funding that was not possible through other means for the startup. And yeah, funding that is needed over a long time frame, and that is too risky for a private investor to take it alone. When we talk about this support, there are several scenarios. There is a grant and investment scenario. There is another one that is called grant first, another one that is called grant only or investment only. Again, if you're not familiar with the programs, we had last week the Applicants Day, and all the information and the videos are with links to everything online will be provided at the end of the presentation. In the case of grant and investment, and let me stop here, because what is important to understand when applying for the funding is the technology readiness level. And in this case, it has to be from level 5, 6 going to level 8. And then having a deployment and a scale-up objective. So that's what we intend to do. The case is that we started funding what is called the blended finance and the investment only. We are looking to fill the funding. We are looking to fill this gap that it was there for a more rapid scale-up, taking these high-risk innovations to the market. So on the investment component, for instance, we are talking about 0.5 million until a maximum of 15 million. It's through direct equity or quasi-equity with a maximum of 25% of the voting shares of the company, and what is called patient capital principle, 7 to 10 years perspective on average. When we talk about what it was more known before, the grant component, the maximum funding is 2.5 million. The eligible costs are reimbursed up to 70%. The innovation activities are supported across 24 months. And the small mid caps are not eligible for this grant, but only for the investment part. On inspiring success stories, I wanted to take the opportunity to highlight some of them. So just to present you which type of women innovators we have in our portfolio. For instance, I chose this company, Eic Medical, with CEO Anais Barut. And they are focused on skin cancer treatments and with a disruptive technology. This company has seen a growth through the years and received EIC funding in 2019 of 2.4 million. So yeah, that's one of the cases. Another one that is in agrotech, and the CEO is Odgu, is in Novafit. That story started with the EIC funding in 2018, 1.75 million. And then across the years, it has seen an enormous scaling up journey. Receiving, for instance, in 2018, 55 million secure to produce what their specific need, that it was this insect protein, and that's the part of the technology in which they were working to the production of insect proteins. And finally, in November 2020, managed to raise 140 million. So that's one of the nice stories of some examples to motivate and to apply for it of these women innovators. And just I wanted to finish with something that I very much think about, that sometimes we are all in this ecosystem working to have more female founders and to support more women in entrepreneurship. and that every effort seems to be a small drop in the middle of the ocean. But I'm sure that all of us together, and I know Impulse for Women is doing that very strongly, and the ecosystem, we can better support and scout those female funders who need, what do they need? The right connections, networks, skills, the funding, and in order to scale up and have an impact on this society. And I think all of us that in this ecosystem, that's what we are aiming for and working for. So yeah, that's all. Thank you all. I'm happy to take some of the questions that you have if I went too fast.
Thank you very much, Rebeca. There is any questions that you would like to ask? Besides that, if you're going to share the PowerPoint with assistants.
Yeah, and I will send you, I'm sorry for the noise. It was a bit annoying before, now it's stopped. Yeah, we'll send you all the details because there's been like this applicants day last week. So I didn't want to make it too lengthy, the presentation. And you can see further on the evaluation phase, so how to present a proposal, what does it mean, the steps, and the deadlines to present the proposal. And yeah, well, and I will be here to, in any case, if you receive any questions, Tarek, I'm happy to reply by email.
Amiran, do you want to go by yourself?
I wanted to ask a question. There was a seminar today from the Commission regarding the new proposals for research and innovation proposals. And they emphasized the gender equalization program that every public organization will need to submit. Can you say a little bit about what is expected to be the impact of that?
Yeah, so that's part of some of the programs in research. And yeah, that's a novelty. So everything, you can find everything in the work program. I'm sure that it was mentioned this morning. The idea is that any public organization, research organization, will be able to present that they are working on gender equality and they have either an equality diversity plan within the organization. So that's that's the objective. So why are we all doing that? No, we are part of Impulse for Women because we want to change something. So this is an addition I could have added. I didn't want to put too many things, not to get confused, because sometimes there are too many things at once. But yeah, I'm happy you mention it because it will be part for some of the research actions. And yeah, that's correct. So it's basically that the organization needs to put in place, if it doesn't have already, needs to prove somehow that is willing to commit to this plan and to put that in place within the organization.
Thank you.
Rebecca, I do have a question. If I were a startup and I would like to attend to the EIC, how is the user experience working? You just go to the link and
there are some novelties. I didn't want to bother you. I can open another presentation and go through it. It's quite new. So there will be an artificial intelligence tool for the first time. There are some colleagues working very timely on that. And the experience will be different than the previous times. There will be a continuous open call, and there will be another type that it will be the full proposal. With the open call, you need to submit a shorter proposal, and yeah, and the experience I think will be completely different than what we know in the past. We intended to do it more intuitively. There will be a guide for applicants. There is always a help desk to reply to questions. And there will be also more information on the website. The experience, I know if you're outside this world and you've never tried, to me is that you can get in contact with many intermediaries, organizations. I know, for instance, I think I mentioned in the presentation, the Enterprise Europe Network will be working to help women-led companies with the proposal. This collaboration will only start when the new Enterprise Europe Network will be established, and this is 2022. But any of the organizations that are working on innovation, let's call it research and innovation in Europe, will be willing to tell you more if it's your first time. So I would suggest to contact all these intermediary associations that exist and have the knowledge in order to go ahead. Of course, you can do it individually, but I think the experience will be different. I also invite everyone to join all the social media accounts because that's the way, and I will include everything that I consider relevant in the document that I will send to you, because this is when the information will come to you quicker, let's say, without, or subscribe to the newsletter, for instance. So that's how you can get in touch with what's going on. Do you want me to go more details like this, or do you have more questions on that?
I know that is one question, but I want to proceed in that one. All these intermediate officers, are they charging you money for as when you're asking them for help, or there's a success fee, or you have to pay them?
I can talk about the Enterprise Europe Network because that's what I know, and I was working before moving to the European Innovation Council, and this is free of charge. They also run some, in different countries. I know from, for instance, in Spain that they run some trainings on that. So yeah, that's what I know. I'm sure there are also consultants who do that, but I am here to talk about what is specifically free of charge, and that's what I know, that it's being done. There is also in every country a national contact point. It was for Horizon 2020, and it will be the case for Horizon Europe. So that's also possible for anybody to get in touch with the national contact point to receive further information. I can tell you more of this Eic tool that will be the user experience. The intention is also to show other types of funding that are available for this type of startup. So I'm saying this is a test phase, so I cannot show anything until it's out there, but I am willing to share the information as soon as it's made public.
Yeah, but sorry, I have a question, Rebecca. I just arrived maybe 2 minutes late, so maybe I'm lost about that. If I want to know about the possibilities for getting some money, for getting some help, how should I act? I mean, who should I contact? Because you say there is many contacts, but I don't know exactly which steps I have to follow, in which direction, or how does it work exactly? Now we know there will be money. There will be money for women, for digital, for sustainability, for many different reasons. But you don't really know where to go to get real information, to know how to do it. Okay, so how will be the real steps we should follow?
Well, as I was saying before, this link that I will send you with the applicants day of last week describe all the programs. There were presentation in each of the programs, from the one I mentioned, Transition, Pathfinder, and the Accelerator. Well, the first thing is, I would say it's even, it starts before, to know what type of technology or innovation you have to be able to see where you can apply. Because in those programs, you will see all the eligibility criteria. So you will see what do you need to apply for it and which will be the criteria. So first you need to know very well so that you understand to which funding you can apply for.
Okay. So we'll have the links to go through them and to understand. Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
What is your, Carmen, can I ask you, what is your sector?
Well, I just launching a marketplace for secondhand on women. So it's very much on sustainability because actually we have to do something, and it's very related with all the fashion model change, but it's also on the day-to-day, the way we are consuming and how we are changing from a lot of owning things to just use the things. So we are just on it, and we launched at the beginning of COVID-29. And it's true that now we are looking for some kind of subvention or some kind of funds. Okay.
Okay, very good.
Thank you very much. Rebecca, Marina asked before, she's talking about deep tech, blue ocean innovation in human rights, primary overlooked responsibility of MNEs, and the stakes for human rights of women and children in globalization. Will deep tech be prioritized in selection over human rights, due diligence solutions, tech-based, but maybe not deep tech? Do you know that?
In selection over human rights due diligence. I would need to understand what do you mean by due diligence solution tech-based.
Can I
Yes,
explain?
sure. Hi.
Hello, thank you so much, Rebecca. Thank you everybody for this chance. Well, I have launched the startup in February last year in Sweden. I went in circles since February last year through all COVID, with zero support, zero funding in Sweden, knocking on the doors of accelerators who told me I need male founder to be able to apply for funding firstly. Then they told me that they can offer me office space and coaching. None of them were needed because I have really, that is a unicorn. Yeah? And human rights due diligence will become mandatory in June in European Union. But nobody since that time, not United Nations, not anyone looked in the situation of expat spouses who are denied work permits in majority of countries around the world and end up unemployable for life and have zero support for their families, that end up in personal catastrophes. There are divorces of 80%. There are suicides. There are children who have mothers in Europe and US who are unemployed for life. And all this is totally accepted. So we have solution both on a legal side, on law enforcement. I have already aligned that with the United Nations High Commissioner and have written proposal. They have acknowledged that they never seen the link between human rights abuse and situation of expat spouses because we're perceived as a luxury population. But my personal story is looking for job for 15 years in Sweden. Yeah, that's the reality. And I'm not alone. There are so many women around the world in the same situation. So we have 3 lawyers who are volunteering to help me. We have zero support, zero funding, and I fund it all without possibility to work for 15 years. So I don't know where to go. Yeah.
So your question is about the human rights.
Deep tech. Well, I don't know if it's a deep tech, yeah, but I don't see anyone investing in justice in Europe. I know that there are funds in US, and I have to understand where I have to put my energy, yeah, because it all takes a lot of time. So if it's primary science and deep tech, maybe that's again not the right, let's say, forum.
Yeah.
So we have to understand.
Okay. Thank you, Marina. I'm happy to investigate more. I don't have the answer.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rebecca.
Yeah. I'm happy to check internally to see, but I think it's a very relevant question. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, because there are some things we develop ecosystem that will be tech-based, but as I don't have primary deep tech, let's say, experience myself, I can't really validate how tech deep it is. Is it half tech, 30%, 100%? But there will be online based and available to women all over the world, and with scale up to all gender and migration. So it's endless opportunities.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good luck.
Thank you. I really need it.
If there's any questions that you would like to ask to Rebeca?
Somebody's asking for the presentations. Nuria, yes, I will send the presentation, but I can also send all the details with all the information of a specific program and the link to the applicants, the videos of last week. That's good.
Super. I also have a list of all these officers that they are helping. There's some that they put charge on it, and other ones they don't. In case that you need it, just let me know. And if we are finishing here our webinar, just remind.
Can I just ask a question, Rebeca? Hi, it's Angela.
Hi, Angela. How are you?
Good. Nice seeing you. It might be a stupid question, but I mean, regarding this entire pillar 3, is there any specific areas that are targeting? Or I mean, you mentioned a lot about tech, deep tech and technology breakthrough. So I understand that you need to kind of like be very close to the market and have a real impact that is like totally kind of changing things. But is there any specific areas, or can you be in like any type of areas as long as you answer these criteria?
Yeah, well, that's good to have this question, so that it goes from earth, environment, but ICT, agrotech, so you can find many areas that touch upon tech. So there's no specific area. I was surprised with Marina's question because it made me reflect if it's something else that we haven't yet thought through, but it's in any specific area. Yeah, I understand it was a bit chaotic, and then this noise that luckily stopped. But in the different area programming, you can see from the Pathfinder to the transition, and you can see the level of technology that is needed if it's in research. So maybe the accelerator is not the right place because it's not so close to the market, but it might be that it could be through the other funding opportunities.
But I guess it's like for the other pillars, like the impact aspect is like very important. I mean, I guess the competition is very high as well. So
in that sense, yeah, it was part of what I was saying at the introduction when we made the assessment of what it was invested in the past, like 3 examples that I gave from health to Green Deal, that it was the largest funding to those areas, like related to the Sustainable Development Goals.
Okay, thanks.
And I hope women will be another one.
Yeah, I'm quite curious. I mean, on this, like the association, like you, like this Tarin, you're representing it. I'm a bit curious about like your association. I understand that you're based in Spain, right? And you're kind of supporting women in tech in Spain, or how I mean, just as an information, as a way of quick introduction, I'm based in Sweden as well, Marina, and I hope tonight I will be elected as a board member to Women in Tech in Gothenburg, where I will try to help my best to support women in technology startup accessing funding, like EU funding. And so I'm also curious about how you work as a network in Spain, and maybe that can also enrich the network I might join tonight in Sweden. So I'm quite interested as well, maybe in another forum to be in touch.
Thank you very much. We started in Spain, but we moved forward to Europe. And in the meantime, there started to come female tech startups from other countries. Our third step was supposed to be United States and Canada, but they came from Russia, from South Africa, Lebanon. And then we started to work with public and private international institutions. And we were born in 2017. We have right now 4,000 female tech startups worldwide. We cover all the average lifetime of a startup. We match them within the correct investor, depending on the maturity, economic needs, allocation, sector. And there's no charge for startups to be part of Impulse for Women. Investors are paying to have access to the deal flow. We did it the opposite. And the only thing that we ask you is to refer another female lead tech startup or another social impact project. We also we are also supporting social impact projects. It's regardless gender, as long as they are doing human well-being and climate and green deal with green tech and all this. Yeah. Okay,
sounds interesting. So maybe I can reach out to you separately.
Everyone, and actually, we do have like 71 people supporting Impulse for Women. Half of them are investors, so they are on the field, and the other ones that they're not investing and they're in the field, they're just ambassadors, and they're also in the technology ecosystem. But our goal is to hire the female lead tech entrepreneurs investment, yes, and close the gap.
Thanks.
No, thanks to you. And actually, this is why we're offering different types of issues to support you and to help you. Now we're doing these webinars that it's supposed to cover all your maturity time, average lifetime. You can get the pills. Now it's Rebecca. The last week was Amiram talking about how to fundraise. Next week on Wednesday will be Aldra. She's gonna teach you how to pitch like a shark in front of an investor. She's gonna give you all the KPIs that you need to have filled before going to see a VC or a business angel, maybe. So that's what we're doing. We're doing podcasts, we're doing mentoring sessions, I guess, by the end of May. 2 days, 1-to-1, 30 minutes each person. And on Tuesday, we will do pitching sessions for social impact projects. That will be next March 30. The first pitching sessions, the first one we did, it was with the European Business Angels Networking last October. And now we're doing the first one only from Impulse for Women. And we're gonna do 3 more along the next 2021. So you will meet the investors. We will pitch in front of them.
Okay, cool.
And do you have any other questions? No. Thank you, Marina. You're always supporting us. Just to announce you that next Wednesday is going to be another webinar in case that you're interested to attend. That will be with Aldra of how to pitch like a shark in front of an investor. And if there's not anything else, we're here to support you. To register in our website is www.impulseforwomen.org. And it's for free. We just ask you to refer another startup. That's the only thing.
If there's one thing more, if there is interest studying in the future after a few sessions and when everything is launched, if I can do, or any of my colleagues, another presentation on the new IT tool and the evaluation process to understand the steps and the type of different possibilities.
Thank you. That would be super. If you want to make a follow-on, just let us know. Okay. We're very close to you, so we interact. Everything that you need, we are there. Okay. So, there's any more questions? Thank you, Marta, for being there. So see you next Wednesday or whenever. Thank you,
everyone. Good luck.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Hi, Ekata.
Hey.
How are you doing? We were almost done.
But I kept on waiting.
I don't know why it didn't appear.
No, I was waiting since last 20 minutes.
Sorry, Ekata, because we were already closed.
No problem.
Very late for you. You're in India.
Yes.
Okay. But are you okay with everything?
thinking of, I mean, getting some symptoms of being COVID positive right now. So, so self-quarantined at home right now.
Wow. Well, hope that you're that you feel okay.
Yeah, things are improving, not a challenge.
Okay. Shall I? I'm gonna see you on Tuesday for the pitching session.
No, no problem. Nope.
Ay.
Okay, no issues.
Okay. So thank you very much for everything. I'm sorry that we're already closing, but we're gonna have the session at the YouTube channel, and in case that
sure,
the schedule, Rebecca is gonna share it with us.
Sure. I'll go and check by that time. No problem.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Bye, Kata.
Bye. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, I'm gonna close Rebecca.
Thank you so much. That's amazing.
Thank you, Marina.
Thank you, Marina. Good luck. We keep in touch.
Thank you, Rebecca. Yeah, I would love to follow up on that. Yeah, because human rights is something very important. Yeah.
Yes. Let's do that.
Definitely. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Thank
All
you.
the best.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
And thank you very much. It was my first time, and it's been very interesting. I'll be getting more into the